This summer, ArcBest, a trucking and logistics company, announced a leadership transition, with Chair and CEO Judy McReynolds passing the torch to President Seth Runser. Now, unfortunately, this comes at a tough time for the entire industry. Back in 2022, went into what people are calling a freight recession, and we're still kind of stuck in it. In fact, it got worse this year thanks to the tariffs. ArcBest itself has reported a couple soft quarters this year. Understandable. It's what the industry is doing. So what's the argument for owning the stock here? Yesterday, ArcBest made the case for its stock at an Investor Day event here in New York City. Tonight, I want you to hear the case directly. So let's check in with Judy McReynolds. She's the chair and outgoing CEO of ArcBest, and Seth Runser, who's the president and CEO-elect. Judy and Seth, welcome to Mad Money.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
Well, okay, so you've kind of reinvented this company, Judy, and now you've had a great run since 2010. Please tell us why you felt this was the right time to move and why Seth is the right choice.
Well, as you know, executive leaders need to have development and succession plans. And, you know, that's something that's really important to me. And so I identified Seth as well as others, and our board was involved in that too. He's been working together closely with me for the last 4 or 5 years, developing, and, you know, Seth is the right person. He's, you know, has a sense of urgency, a bent toward growth, continuous improvement. He's been with us for 2 decades. And he's just ready, and it's right. And I've got some personal passions that I want to spend time on, and I'm going to continue as chair of the board. So
well,
I'm excited to watch Seth be a great leader for us. And
excellent.
I look forward to it.
All right, so Seth, Judy's put the company on a path to have some really what I think high-level logistics, some real value added versus just, say, regular trucking. Not that that isn't value added itself, but will you continue to move that along? I know, for instance, you've got Vox technology, one of Judy's projects, but you've got upcoming ArcBest View technology. How will this differentiate you from your competitors?
Yeah, so when I entered the ArcBest president role, the role that I'm currently on, I went on a listening tour and listened to our customers, employees, and it really reaffirmed our strategy that we have to build technology around what our customers are looking for, and View and Vox are great examples of that. So the Vox technology opens up a $50 billion market for us in the intralogistics space. And we feel like our solution's differentiated because we're the fastest way to market on getting technology into and autonomy into the warehouse operation. So View, what that's really going to do is it's a new customer service platform that we announced at Investor Day yesterday that's going to combine all of our modes into a seamless place for our customers to quote, book, track, do all of their logistics needs in one singular platform.
So they would have a dashboard that had everything they need, and that they would know to work with you guys because it's pretty transparent what you get.
Absolutely, and it's across modes too. So whether it's LTL, truckload, expedite, you can have complete visibility of your supply chain, and we think that's differentiating in the marketplace.
Excellent. Now, Judy, I want to get a high-level update on where freight is. And we hear about freight recession, I listen to some of your competitors and they talk about it, and we start thinking, well, wow, this is an industry that's not doing as well as I thought it would, given the fact that we might have, say, 3%, a little bit stronger GDP. What's going on in the industry that there are competitors who openly speak about a freight recession?
Well, if you start and look at what drives our business, 40 to 50% relates to manufacturing and wholesale. And so, and that's where the weakness has been. It's, you know, the manufacturing PMI has been in a weak place. So that's where it starts. But, you know, the way we look at it is, you know, we still have opportunity. What I've loved about what Seth has done is reorganize some things, our sales efforts and how he's targeting, you know, the different modes. He is really putting together plans and executing plans, you know, to grow despite this weakness. And one of our shining stars in all of that is our managed transportation. It's grown 45% compounded annual growth rate since 2017 when we birthed that. And what that is really a place where we come together with customers that we have a good, trusted relationship with, and we're managing their supply chain. And as things have gotten more complicated, complex, the cycles up and down, you know, what we're doing is really trying to make sure that if it's efficiency they want, we're doing that. Or if it's capacity they need, we've got it. And we have access there to 95% of the LTL capacity and 70,000 truckload carriers on behalf of our customers. So that's what we're executing on for them.
And so how did that help to try to help your clients with tariffs?
Yeah, I think what it does is we build our customer relationships on trust. So 80% of our revenue comes from customers who've been with us a decade. So why we're seeing the growth in managed solutions, like Judy mentioned, is because they're coming to us during this time of disruption and saying, hey, we have to reorganize our supply chain. We have to switch from one mode to pool distribution. So they're really coming to us for optimization of their supply chain to combat some of the cost increases or just how they have to source their products.
And
So,
also like diversification.
Diversification,
Yeah, diversification really
So,
helps,
yeah.
you know, for if you're trying to limit risk.
Yeah.
Right.
And to Judy's point, our pipeline's grown to over $1 billion in that managed solution. So it's resonating with customers.
Now, one thing that I am concerned about is we do a lot of work with autonomous. And a lot of people are worried about what AI would do to someone's job. I'm worried about what an autonomous driver would do to a trucker. These are really hard jobs. And I don't know if I would want to go into it if I would think that maybe 5 years from now I'd be replaced. You have a union workforce, maybe they can be protected, but I'd be concerned about my livelihood. What's going to happen?
Well, you know, I think what's great about us is we stay close to that. You know, we have a great innovation team that stays close to what the ecosystem for startups. And so we're interfacing with autonomous companies. And, you know, we're watching that. But I'll let Seth talk about how that impacts the operation.
Yeah, really what we're looking for is any technology that could be disruptive to our business model. So what we always say internally is focus on disrupting yourself before someone else does. And that's why we invested in this innovation team, to stay close to these startups, to make sure that we have our eyes 5, 10, 20 years down the road, because we're a long-term company. We've been in business 102 years now, so we're always focused on what's in the future and what's ahead.
Well, what do you think? I mean, I know that I've seen FedEx using robots. Obviously, we know autonomous drivers. We see them sometimes even when we're next to them. We say to ourselves, wait a second, this thing's happening faster than we thought. I mean, what do you say to the workforce so that the workforce is not thinking it's about to be disrupted itself? Yeah,
so we work closely with our workforce, and we think we have some of the best drivers in the nation. Safe, reliable, friendly to our customers. But what we do is we negotiate on those type of technology changes with the Teamster leadership. So it's something we're keeping an eye on, but it still has a long way to go from a regulatory standpoint and just a public adoption rate.
All right, that's good, because I think a lot of people think that things are happening too fast.
And I'll give you another example, completely different. Vox has another product than the one we've talked about before. It's called Smart Autonomy. And it's autonomous mobile forklifts driving inside the walls of a warehouse. But on each end of the action that they have to take, you have to have a human in the loop. Right. And that's actually really helpful at getting started, with the work that needs to be done. And so there's examples like that. I mean, other technologies, I think Seth could talk about AI, but what we see most often is, yes, the technology is driving change, but people actually make it happen.
So it's to be a hybrid situation. We want that. I think we want people in the room. Well, I want to thank Judy McReynolds, the CEO of ArcBest, moving on to chair, right? And Seth Runser is the CEO-elect and president of ArcBest. Look, this is the kind of company you buy if you think the economy is going to get hot again, as I do when the Fed starts cutting. Mad Money's back after the break.